I have pointed my camera 10,000 times at the wildness and splendor that surrounds my home. The rocks, imperial, silent. The water, crashing, violent, yet with grace. Nowhere does the earth speak to us more clearly or with more eloquent tongue than in this valley of light, Yosemite. This first view of Yosemite Valley is probably one of the most spectacular scenes on our continent. The valley was discovered only a little over 100 years ago by a troop of cavalry chasing an Indian chief. They passed here in 1851, and gradually stories and tall tales spread, and other men came to see for themselves. Among them was the naturalist John Muir, who was entranced by the region. To Muir and the conservationists who followed him, this was a sacred place. Their dream of preserving the natural beauty was realized in 1890, when nearly 1 million acres were dedicated as a national park. It was called Yosemite, after the Indians who built their lodges on the valley floor. The valley hasn't changed much. There are more people. They come from all over the world now to see the rocks and water in these fantastic combinations. Highway 41 leads you to the valley floor, past some of the more popular viewpoints. Ahead is Bridalveil Falls, one of the spectacular snow-fed tributaries of the Merced River. Over 600 feet of water hanging in the sky. Camp 16 isn't quite so contemporary, but the coffee's good, and pancakes and bacon were never better. Whether you sleep in a tent or a hotel, Yosemite surrounds you with water and rocks and sky. The animals, like curious children, inspect each new visitor. A few miles to the south of the valley stands our living link to the past, the giant sequoias. This grizzled giant was 2,000 years old when Christ was born. Whole civilizations have lived and died during the lifespan of these trees. Primitive man, roving aborigines, and now an army of mechanized travelers. By many tourist standards, you have now seen Yosemite Park. Of course, it's possible to pass through and never leave your automobile, if you do not object to the inevitable traffic and parking lots. But if you would taste this country, really savor and enjoy it, look beyond the roads. Step off the highway 100 feet, and you're alone, with carpets of wildflowers. Boulders and rocks dozing in the sun. And manzanita, twisted, grotesque, and beautiful. Stand alone in a meadow, and you are surrounded by breathtaking color and form. Valley light dyeing the rock blue, gray, bronze, and gold. If you want something more than a picture postcard look, follow the mist trail to Vernal Falls. Hike in to the base of Yosemite Falls. Watch the water boiling down. Hear the roar that was only a whisper from the road. Feel the spray fresh and cold on your face. Walk up the Yosemite Trail and look back at the green valley. Stand at the top and trace the stream as it rushes down from the snows of the Sierras. It swirls past your feet and finally hurls itself into space. Most Yosemite visitors don't see or even know about the high country. These glorious snow-capped Sierras lie above the rim of the valley. Tioga Pass at 10,000 feet is the gateway to this mountain world. To the high Sierras come new explorers who seek what lies beyond the next ridge. What modern kitchen of enamel and chrome can rival this mountain lakeside? there a tonic to equal the adventure of a packed trip into the wilderness? The splendor of this country stuns you and marks you forever. Water pounding down slick granite, rising plumed and white. Blue sky, clear and crisp. A patch quilt pattern of color and shape that is unforgettable. This is the mighty Sierra Nevada that most Yosemite visitors that has its own rewards with distant panorama. Restaurants and shops contribute in their own way. But if you would know this country, this Yosemite, pause and drink deep of its beauty. Stand in a valley meadow at dawn. See morning light splashing golden brush strokes on a new canvas. Do not run from the summer storm. Feel the wind and rain as it tears the heavens. The sounds of the earth, whispering and roaring a song of life. Touch the wind again on Sentinel Dome as it sweeps through the Jeffrey pine. Finally, for one last quiet moment, stand high on Glacier Point as sunset creeps up the rocks. And as light leaves the rose-tipped peaks, welcome the first beams of the full moon, shining on this valley of light, Yosemite.